Today's project is a one-piece cat jar. I'm using 400 grams of white stoneware clay on a small throwing bat, which I've attached to the wheel with a thin layer of clay. This time, I've prepared slightly firmer clay, as it will retain its shape better when I press a stick against the pot later. To center the clay, I press the top of the cone from 5 o'clock towards 11 o'clock with the edge of my right palm while my left hand keeps the cone shape. If I use only one hand to center the clay on this small throwing bat, the force from the side often shifts the bat. To counteract this, I use both hands to create opposing forces. The firm clay means I'll need to be more patient during the centering process. Once the clay is centered and its density is equalized, I form a disc to make a cylinder. The cylinder is a foundation for most of my pieces. To begin, I set my right thumb just off-center and slide it inward. This way, my thumb is naturally guided to the center. I then switch from my thumb to my middle finger to reach the bottom, leaving about 7 mm of clay. This is slightly thicker than usual for a pot of this size, as I'll be altering the bottom at the leather hard stage and need the extra thickness. Once my fingertip reaches the bottom, I slide it outward, then dig it 5 mm into the wall and pull the clay straight up. My left hand supports the wall to maintain the cylinder's shape. Next, I use a wooden spatula to compress the bottom and internal corner. This helps prevent an S-crack from forming at the base. The diameter of the cylinder is now about 9 cm, and I'll pull the wall up to make it taller. I press my right ring finger at the bottom of the wall at the 9 o'clock position and use my left middle finger to apply counter pressure from inside the pot, slightly higher than my right finger. Then I gently lift both fingers together. By interlocking both thumbs, I combine my hands into one tool, ensuring the wall remains evenly thick. To finish the cylinder, I use a handmade wooden bar. Its corner creates a clean internal bottom corner, while its straight edge smooths out the throwing marks inside the cylinder. I flip my left hand and place it at the bottom of the cylinder at the 6 o'clock position. I position the corner of the bar at the internal bottom corner. Once I feel it's clean and smooth, I slide my left hand up the bar with gentle pressure. With the inside complete, I clean the outside using a wooden spatula to ensure the wall is straight. The cylinder's height is now around 12 cm. I mark a line about 3 cm below the top. This will be the starting point for closing the cylinder. Forming a diamond shape with my hands, I gently squeeze the cylinder at the marked line, then Slowly move my hands upwards. Near the top, I pinch the edge with my right fingers to stand it upright, allowing me to control the closing process with ease. Now I'm ready to close the top. As the clay thickens during the closing process and the internal surface becomes wavy, I stretch and smooth the domed part before fully closing the top. When I closing the top, I imagine the structure inside. Cutting the top too soon can make it thin, while leaving too much clay can make it too thick. Both cases can cause an S-crack, so taking extra time here is worthwhile. The pot is now fully closed. The trapped air inside holds the shape, allowing me to create a nice dome. Using a bamboo chopstick, I create a dividing channel for the pot. I've sharpened one side flat and the other at an angle for clean channeling. The channel will act as a joint between the pot and the lid, so I make it where the wall is straight, avoiding curved sections. I gently press the chopstick into the pot, anchoring my arms on the splash pan for stability. Next, I make an air vent hole. Without it, trapped air during the drying process could cause the pot to crack. I trim the bottom corner before removing the pot from the vat. This small detail helps create a clean, rounded edge essential for top centering during the trimming stage. Once laser hard, the pot is ready for trimming. I wet the base to secure it to the wheel. And press the bottom corner to stabilize it. Spinning the wheel seals the base, fixing the pot in place. I use a metal kidney to shape the outside. Then I use a flat side of the kidney to polish the surface. Now for my favorite part, separating the lid with a needle. This technique, which I call one piece, allows me to create two parts from one pot. I set the needle horizontally at the lower part of the channel at the 9 o'clock position using my right middle finger to stabilize it. The closed section often has an uneven surface, which can lead to S-crack during firing. If necessary, I trim this part to ensure it's even. I then polish the surface for added care. Next, I trim the lid's catch. This part needs to be substantial in thickness, as trimming it too thin may cause it to break during the handling. I ensure the side of the lid remains straight to achieve a good fit with the main body. Polishing the surface further improves the fit. To shape the body, I start with a loop tool to create the basic form, then switch to a hard edge trimming tool to sharpen the edges and refine the surface. Before removing the pot from the wheel, I clean the bottom corner. A clean circular edge makes tap centering easier later on. To remove the pot, I slide a metal kidney underneath and press it gently against the wheel. When the pot has a clean circular base, it's easy to place it in the center of the wheel. I secure the pot in place using small pieces of clay. Next, I use a metal spinner to hold the pot steady. This tool has two discs with a bearing in between. The top disc stays under my fingers, while the bottom one spins with the pot. I trim the bottom corner to prevent chipping. I also trim the foot ring, creating a concealed foot ring with a flat 7mm wide base. I mark a line 7mm inwards from the outer edge, which will serve as the starting point for trimming the inside of the foot ring. I then trim the center. From this point, I trim multiple lines. Gradually removing peaks to create a flat surface and avoid waviness. I repeat this process until the clay at the bottom feels soft when I pressed. To prevent an S-crack, I compress the surface. The main body is now complete. The lids fit perfectly. From this point, it's all about creativity. There are endless possibilities for what this pot can become. For this project, I have decided to make it into a cat. I start by shaping small clay balls and attaching them with soft clay to form the cat's features. Clay in small portions tend to dry quickly due to hand heat, so I use soft clay to begin with. I make scratch marks on both sides of the joints and add a bit of slip to support the attachment. The slip acts as a temporary supporter for the attachment, but compressing the joint is the key to fusing the parts together. A sharpened bamboo stick is an excellent tool for creating fine details and marks. Organic tools like this are gentle and versatile. To make a pulse, I cut the front section of the foot ring. I apply underglaze to add color and character to the design. After bisque firing, I sand the surface using fine sandpaper to ensure a smooth finish. I also sand the joint to create a perfect snug fit. Using a small file, I sharpen the corner of the lid's catch to improve its fit further. The lid now fits beautifully. I apply wax to the joints. This step makes cleaning the piece easier later. As I'll be filing the pot with the lid on, the joint must be completely free of glaze to prevent it from sticking. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed watching this pottery process. The One Piece Cat Jar is part of my One Piece series, a collection that allows endless possibilities to spark creativity and imagination. Your comments and feedback always inspire me to create more videos. Happy creating, and I look forward to seeing you in my next pottery video.